Hello, thank you for joining Missy and I, the big picture. So, what I was going to talk about today was righteous indignation. The other day, I was kind of dwelling on a pattern with myself and a certain person in my life. And one of the things that I teach people is that, try not to take things personal. And if you don't judge things, you won't take things personal. It's when we judge it that we take it personal. And then we take it personal because, it doesn't feel good. And that's okay because your intuition is part of that is feeling. But lately, I've been really looking at a deeper level of my part in the pattern, in the relationship with another person in my life, and how I keep myself stuck in it, how I keep it perpetuating. And so, this particular situation that I found myself in, and I was frustrated with myself because I don't want to participate in that way anymore. And I find myself being in a reactionary mode, and it doesn't feel good. So, sorry about that. My dog was just knocking, so I had to go and get him. So anyway, I don't like the way that feels, and I don't want to conduct myself in that way anymore. And Spirit speaks to me, and Spirit said righteous indignation to me. That's the only word I got. And I actually Googled it. And righteous indignation, it says, is typically a reactive emotion of anger over mistreatment, insult, or malice of another. In some Christian doctrines, righteous anger is considered the only form of anger which is not sinful. So I found that interesting. And I thought about times in my life where I didn't take things personal. Like I was bullied terribly every single day getting on the school bus. I've talked about that, where kids called me fat and makeup kit and they spit at me. And I obviously didn't like getting on the school bus, and I knew that was coming, but I was observing it. And the day that I finally spoke up for myself was because I stepped into that righteous indignation. And I can remember the power that came up inside of me. So, I think that we're learning that, we do have a power within us. It's our faith. And part of having our faith is having our voice. So I'm not a person that likes confrontation. I don't like to hurt anybody. But I also realize that by not having my voice, a lot of times in my life, I was hurting myself and holding myself back. So anyway, I allow myself to feel that righteous indignation. And it was like something in the bottom of my feet, coming up through my feet and filling my whole body. And I even felt taller. And I felt empowered. I didn't feel self-righteous. I didn't feel like I wanted to overpower somebody. I just really felt free. Like I broke into a different space of a different type of a boundary. It was like, no, I am not going to do this. And I do not deserve to be treated this way. And I will not allow it in my life anymore. And I will not allow it because it holds me back. And I am here to do God's work. We all are. So if you look back at different times of your life, in doing this righteous indignation, you're going to be setting another boundary, which is what I've done with this person. I've set another boundary, and boundaries really are healthy. I wasn't taught that with my parents. It wasn't modeled to me. But in setting this boundary with this person and looking at my part and allowing myself to realize that it's validated in that righteous indignation, our relationship is starting to really soften. And that's a gift. So if you look at the times in your life where you're in any relationship, even with yourself, and how you are keeping yourself stuck, how you are perpetuating this situation. And look at it with curiosity. Like, look within your heart and be curious. Take that little flashlight and shine around and see the areas in your life where you're frustrated, where you feel stuck, where you just are, a little annoyed with yourself that you keep obsessing over something. And even though you know something, a situation or a person or a place or a thing isn't going to bring you peace or joy, you keep putting yourself there. And you wonder why you do that to yourself. Being in limbo is very difficult for people that are very intuitive, because we're supposed to have our voice. So any situations that are brought about like this, where we feel out of balance, we tend to really be leaving ourselves in limbo. So it's like the circle is not finished. So when we are able to grow through that righteous indignation, we learn how to be empowered and have our voice, and then speak to the other person from love. Because when you're in the righteous indignation, you are in your self-centered self. And that in itself is a gift for you, because then that limbo is closed and you're finishing the circle. You're not attached to the outcome. You're not trying to teach anybody a lesson. You just feel at peace within yourself because you finished the circle. And then that allows you to move beyond in your life, and really not be pulled back, because when you really release it to that point, it's outside of you and it's not within you anymore. So you're not going to be triggered. And I believe that this righteous indignation is like the final, like the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top. And that's when you really are setting the tone for this other person. And then it's really up to them. It's up to them if they want to be in your life or not. So it's not that you want control over the situation, but you want to really stay true to yourself, and you want to move beyond, because you know you're here to do God's work.
So when you spoke to me about this, the righteous indignation, it really set in my brain like a aha moment, because like you said, it's the icing on the cake. And we both grew up golden rule, treat others like you would want to be treated. But then we discussed using your voice, and that empowered. But this took it a step further, and it's like, God wants us to use our voice, and being in that limbo keeps us. It's painful to be in the limbo. It's painful.
It is.
So it's like you can take it a step further, and knowing that it's righteous and it's almost needed, where it's for you and it's for the other person too. And it's like God took us a step further and gave us this righteous indignation to allow us to use our voice in a different way, at a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's like you're coming from love. You're not at all resentful, or it's just, that's what you need to do for yourself. And it empowers you, but not to the point where it's like you become a bully.
No smug,
no. But it's like an aha moment. It really is.
You're right, because it's like the boundaries are about, they're a gift for yourself, holding boundaries for yourself and other people, because you're telling someone how you want to be treated, mm-hmm. right? And the righteous indignation is the only really way that you get to speak it is to live it, mm-hmm. right? So You're you're leading by example. And, you know, that's how, if you hold yourself back and you're not respecting yourself,
You're playing small.
you're playing small.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
We always saw the heaviness in other people and we felt it. And we kind of like recoiled from it and went within. And that energy, and most often they don't even realize that the other person that they're projecting, it just squiggles right out of them and comes into us. And within them, this thing happens where they feel this empowerment, but it's not them. It's not the light part of them. It's that energy that they don't want to feel. Mm-hmm. So it's like that's where the relationship, like who's the head honcho, kind of comes in. Like, this, she thinks she's better than me, whatever. Or like he's more in control, she's the easygoing one. That's where that all starts. So if you really know yourself, you can see a person that really knows themselves and loves themselves and respects themselves. You can see it in their walk. You can see it in
There's
their
confidence.
It is a confidence. And when people do this work with me and they would start working, people, they say to me, like a girl the other day said, my aunt said she could see the difference in me and how I seem more confident. And that's actually a compliment, because confidence is like you're walking different. Your head's up, shoulders are back. You're looking ahead. So much of our lives is spent in the past or in the future worrying.
And when you have this righteous indignation, you can, I just look at it like this: stating your piece, and you can stay in the moment, but retreat back a little bit, and then it gives the other person an opportunity to either step forward. They have choice, and I think that's what you were feeling. That person was able to step forward a little bit, and you didn't have attachment to it because you said your piece, and you were very it's not like a wall, but it's like, this is righteous, this is what I want, and setting that boundary. And then you can kind of take a step back, and that person chooses to step forward or not.
And I think what it is too is I told myself, I always say to people, if you don't want to feel that way, you can change that. And here I am in my life and I have so much to be thankful for. And we can stop living our lives and shift, and we do it many, many times, especially with our children. I mean, I see parents that have children that are like addicted to drugs, and the turmoil that these parents are in, blaming themselves or trying to bail them out all the time and everything, and they're in terrible pain. And
because they're in that limbo.
Yes, they're in the limbo. So when you're in the limbo, you're in your thoughts. You're trying to fix it. You're trying to analyze it. You're trying to change it. So you're not accepting it. And when you make that decision, like, this is not right, I'm not going to be treated this way, this is not what God wants me to do, this is not how God wants me to behave, this is not helping anything, this is just perpetuating in the shadow side, blah, you really get it. So you have this energy that comes up and it rises up within you, and you say no. You're not saying no to the person, you're saying no to this energy that is taunting you, that is teasing you, that is coming through this other person, and the person's not even awake to it. They're unconscious. And as long as you're there to absorb it, it's going to go on and on and on and on. And what good is going to come out of that? When you really think about it, what good is going to come out of it? We have a choice to say no, to hold ourselves accountable with a boundary, like, I will not be treated this way. This is not the way anybody deserves to be treated, and I am ultimately doing it to myself, because I'm staying in a situation. I'm helping to create the situation. I'm perpetuating it. I'm feeding it. I'm giving it, everything it needs to keep going. And it's just about saying no because you love yourself and because you love God. God doesn't want us to hurt. God doesn't want this work to be hard anymore, doesn't want us to be burdened. There really is joy in doing this work, and it's very, very freeing. And when you break away from that, the other person will wake up, even if it's only for a split moment. When you disengage and you walk away, that person then has the opportunity, because they're going to feel it, your absence. They're going to feel that. The energy is going to be heavier on them. That gives them the opportunity to do the work or not. And that has nothing to do with you. If they choose to, all of a sudden your child says, you know what? I'm losing my family. And look at them. They're good people. Why did I do this? That's part of waking up. I'm going to go to a drug rehab. I'm going to get a job. They have to want to do it for themselves. But the bottom line is you don't want to live life that way. You get to choose the life you want, how you live it. We're not here to tell somebody else how to live. We're not here to tell anybody else what to believe. We're not here to tell anybody else what's right or wrong. You get to choose. You get to choose. And the choices that you make is what you're going to live. The energy quality that is in a vibration, that is in any emotion, is what you're going to live. Happiness has a feeling to it, has a vibration. Loss has a vibration to it. And if we stay fluid and allow these energies to just come through us, especially the painful ones, allow it to be like fluid and just go right through you, then you won't get stuck. So that's why it's important to have these other parts of yourself, knowing that you're just not this human being. Yes, you're a human being, and we're full of flaws, and that's how we're supposed to be. But we have these other parts to us. We have God within us. We have our centered self, which is the God part of ourselves. We have our mother within that knows our every move and loves us unconditionally. We have our higher self, that little voice that has been guiding you your whole life. Whether you listen to it or not, it's never left you. So you have the choice to do this. You're not alone. We're not meant to do this alone. We're mirrors for each other, not to give each other advice, not to crosstalk, but just to hold a space. Hold the space and hold up the mirror so that you can see what you're doing in your life and how you are creating your existence. So you don't have to be burdened with this. You can give it over to God. God is the word I use for my creator. I'm a part of that energy. Whatever your word is that you use, God of your understanding.
And the way I see it is, I can see it right now in my head. Righteous indignation, less anxiety, less stress, less worry equals peace equals freedom.
Beautiful. So a little thing this week is gossip. But gossip shows up in different ways. It can show up with well, it's judging. But just pay attention. Pay attention even if you're by yourself, where your thoughts are going and how it's making you feel. Or if you're with other people, especially now with the stuff that's going on with politics and stuff. If you're around another person, stay awake enough to see. Listen to what they're saying, but pay attention to how you're feeling. And honor yourself. You don't have to participate in that conversation. You don't have to step into the gossip. You don't have to step into the judging. You can hold a space for that person and say, I'm going to hold a space and be a channel of love and light right now for this situation, for the person and myself. Let them speak. No matter what you're hearing, if they sound angry, you say, I can see how angry this makes you. And then shut your mouth, zip it, and let them speak. That's being a healer right there. Not joining that vibration and perpetuating it and putting that out into the world, because that's what we're doing. Every time we have a thought, we're putting it out there in the world. That's why there's karma. What you put out is what you bring in. So my hope for you is that you realize we're all healers. We all have a light. Our only job is to let it shine and to enjoy our lives and return home to ourselves. and to have abundance. God says we can have it all.
And maybe just take a look where you could maybe see where you could have righteous indignation, and just if the time is right for you, yeah, like I said, peace and freedom. um, take a look at that, and you'll know you'll know when the time is right for you, and what you could, and the choices that you can make in your life, and for a better life, and a better way of feeling for yourself.
So I'll end this with a mantra that my mother used to say to me all the time. She used to say, Petra Marie, you have a gift. You can look within, and not everybody can do that. I've always looked within. I've lived my life that way. I was always connected with my higher self, my centered self. So I was very awake my whole life. So I'm going to challenge you to look within. When you're in the car, stay awake. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, feel it. You're going to have a reaction because you're human. But then go back inside and look within and say, do I want to perpetuate this and keep this pissed off energy going the rest of my day? Or how do I want to feel? And think about what happiness or peace feels like. And then feel it. And then decide if you want to stay with that. It's as simple as that's a simple way to live. It really is simple. Anybody can do it. So thank you for spending this time with us. Today is Easter. Happy Easter. Enjoy your day. The birds are singing and the sun is out and the buds are coming out in the trees. And I'm going to be very happy because I'm going to be buying my flowers soon.
And we love you.
Okie dokie. Thank you.